if it's about the child needs to be there. I don't care what it is, what it's for, all that, the child needs to be there.
So I think that starts with honoring that the young person is the expert on what's best for them. And I think that frequently as a system, there's so many things at work, there are so many decisions that need to be made that we forget that a child has been living in this family for 14 and 15 and 16 years before we showed up. And that young person will know when they're safe and when they're not safe. They're going to know who the safe people are that they might be able to be with. They'll have the best sense of some of those things.
I think it really is important for young people to learn to advocate for themselves. And so sometimes our work and our actual written goal in an action plan is to support a young person in developing the skills to advocate for themselves within the child welfare system. And so some of the tasks around that might look like ensuring that the young person is included in any team meetings or service plan meetings, court hearings, those types of things where decisions could be made, and that they are able to advocate for what they feel is in their best interest, and also just share how they're doing.
When we look at what teens need, and from some work that I've been able to do in some other counties around the United States, going in and speaking with youth, and what they have said to me is they need to feel like they're not talked at, they're talked with. They need to feel welcomed, not feared. They want to feel loved, and that they're wanted in the homes, and they want a place that's a family-like setting.
Often youth are asked to choose between, like, do you want to see your parent 3 times a week, or do you want to participate? So when we really move towards parenting time, where visitation instead looks like we're going to grab dinner together, or we're going to go watch our daughter's track meet together, or we're going to, take her to the, to the powwow and all be there to support her when she does her dance together. All of those are ways that we're really reinforcing that you don't have to choose between being in foster care and having a normal childhood.
When the system does residential, a lot of times the parents are cut out of that decision making. They're cut out of being able to call every day. They're cut out of really having those family therapy sessions. It's not a partnership with the parents or with their former foster parents or with anyone who loves them. It's just cut and dry. The residential home is their foster parent now, which does not bode well for kids with their outcomes, with their attachment. When we had asked for our daughter to get these resources before adoption, it was, if she goes to residential, you're no longer her foster parent, you're no longer allowed visits with her, you no longer have any legal ties to her. Instead of saying, yes, let's work together, let's have her go here for a bit and come back home. That was not an option that was given to us.
It needs to be a youth-adult partnership. It's not always what the team believes is best for you. It's not always that way. And once we be able to move past that phase of, like, you know what, let's listen to the young person one time. Just listen to me one time, and it's gonna work, because I'm telling you, I may not know everything, but I know what's best for me sometimes.
I really want to emphasize the need for quality mental health care for kids who are transitioning out of residential care. If I can think of one need that is above everything else, it's that. It's mental health care, it's crisis support services. Those were our biggest concerns, our biggest challenges with our teenagers in our home that have transitioned from group home care to our home, is we felt like the quality of therapy that they were receiving, that the system had provided, was not sufficient, and it was not to the level that they needed. And in addition to that, we didn't have anyone that we could call in crisis.
I think one thing that gets overlooked sometimes when we're looking at transitioning a youth from a residential placement to foster placement, or particularly back with birth family, is the need to understand, to a certain extent, the caregiver's trauma history and how the interaction with the youth who may have experienced similar trauma could bring up emotions and challenges in parenting for that caregiver. so that the caregiver, we need to make sure that they have the supports in place.
A lot of the parents that we work with, I would argue the vast majority, have a good understanding of what their kids need. And if we don't pay attention to that, I think that we continue to be at risk of putting kids in places that don't fit for them. And we need to be able to sit with parents and have them, in the instances where their child does need to be removed, have them still be helping us make those decisions.
I'm a single dad of 2 girls, and have been successful. And as a father, we are just as capable of being able to take care of our children. We just need a chance, and the things that we don't know, if you give us a chance, we can learn. We just need that opportunity and someone to believe in us through that process in order to do the good work and to continue to move forward through this process. So we are a viable parenting resource.
High quality treatment for any kind of behavioral or mental health challenge is really only possible if family involvement is a core and central part. And so the idea, I think, in child welfare has to be that we are transitioning to having a really family-centered model of treatment. And so anything that we can provide to a child or a youth in a family setting where we can bring the supports in and provide, intensive wraparound services or in-home supports, we should be doing that.